Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, our weekly source of untethered insanity. Hi.
Hi.
I'm not Brad Pitt, neither is he. He's not Josh Holloway, neither am I. But I am Brad, that's Josh. And together, we fight crime.
Wait, you're not Brad.
No, I said I'm Josh and you're Brad.
No, you said that I'm Josh and you're Brad.
No. I said, I'm not Brad Pitt, neither is he. He's not Josh Holloway, neither am I. Right. But I'm Josh and he is Brad.
Okay, well, we'll have to rewind this afterwards and see, but...
We'll have to edit any mistakes out.
Right, you'll make me wrong no matter what you said. I got it.
So,
yes.
It's been an interesting week. Not quite as much news as in other weeks, but hey, that's not a bad thing. That just means that next week there will be more news than we can handle, most likely.
There's going to always be an App Lab explosion, it looks like. Yeah. So, you know.
There was an App Lab explosion this week. I was going to show a screenshot of all of the new things, but I didn't transfer the link from that computer out there to this computer in here. So,
well, that's good.
We just have to take our word for it. There was a whole ton of new titles in the App Lab.
The problem is, I'm sure by the time that you would have uploaded the titles to this computer, there would be 6 more that have been approved and on there. They're really working it. I mean, App Lab seems to be paying off for Facebook. They are.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Yeah, true. And I have been seeing some App Lab titles that I haven't seen anything about since Go.
Oh, I was going to say, when did they bring back the Go? I'm waiting. You know, it's like, I'm so glad I didn't get rid of my Quest 1, which I hope can still play Go stuff, right? Because there's a ton of it.
In theory, it's still using APKs and all that, and in theory, if you sideload a Go title onto the Quest 2, it should work just like it should work on the Quest 1. The only thing they did was they discontinued the officially bringing over so you could access your Go library within the headset. You know?
I thought it was a validation thing as well, but obviously not.
Well, no. As far as I know, you should be able to still sideload them on, because you can still sideload to 2D apps. You know, so.
Right. Oh yeah, some of them are the way that they're adding mods to some of these things are insane. I mean, it's like it's becoming a PC at this point.
Right.
Really, it's like getting so complicated. It went from being this simple little thing to all of a sudden I have to go back to learning it. It's like, okay, you know.
So, anyways, do you have any highlights?
Highlights?
Yes.
My highlights this week were actually, what did I pick? Oh yeah, Pavlov Shack. I picked up Pavlov Shack for the first time. It was.
That's one of the new releases that we were going to talk about. So, all right.
There you go. As far as actual playtime goes, with all of these updates, honestly, with all of the updates and all of the games, plus the actual the update was a little unstable, I thought, a few days ago. I think they've done something. Either that or my headset's getting used to it.
Right. Well, your headset maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I think they might be working on the Guardian system. I know they're working on the intrusion system, so maybe that's what's going on right now in the rollout. I'm not sure.
Yep, never know.
But no, I've been basically going through all the new titles that I downloaded and just taking a look to see what's going on. And there are some really beautiful titles out there, even coming off of App Lab. You know, just some really short ones on App Lab that I'm steering clear of. It seems like they've got 10-minute titles on there. You know?
Well, yeah. They've got some that, as I mentioned, I haven't seen for a long time that are just all of a sudden. Wait a second, I don't think that it ever even made it such a side quest, and now, yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, there are titles that did never make it to side quests that are coming out. It's crazy, and it's like Guy Gadan is coming out with new updates for the mobile. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I really am. The problem is I'm already living in the next generation. They've already made me feel that I'm using a last generation headset with everything they're talking about. But it's the latest and greatest. I mean,
well, they're not making it anymore. The Quest 1.
No, I'm saying about my Quest 2.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be I hope that they don't release another headset this year, but they don't have a good track record of living up to my hopes. So
I'm going to say they have to do it before Apple releases their mixed reality headset in January or February of next year.
Yeah, but if Apple's headset is priced equivalent to the Vive and is not able to be subsidized by the telecoms, I think it might not have as big an impact on the Quest sales as you might think, because people can justify 300, 400, 500 on a Quest 2 or a used Quest 1 for 200, but it's much harder to justify 800, 900, 1,000, when they can't subsidize it. So,
to a degree, it depends if they really are coming out with the dual 8K. It really depends on what they do with it, because with dual 8K, they could give you real life. They could just jump over everything and stick you into the middle of reality. You know? So it really depends on where they're at. I know their development program right now is in full swing. And I just looked into it, and I'm getting emails every day like, come on back. Like anybody that's interested, they'll work with you. So,
they are pushing forward on that, and I'm sure that they will do a good job. And honestly, I don't mind if they prove to be a viable competitor. Because we need the competition. I just hope that it doesn't become as vitriolic as the Windows versus Mac wars used to be, and still are in certain parts of the internet.
Really? You mean unlike the Xbox PlayStation wars?
Yes.
Yes, unlike those.
Or the beta VHS wars.
But, the beta VHS wars really raged on for a while. That was, pre-email, so people couldn't, pre-Twitter and pre-Facebook and pre-everything, so you couldn't really complain. It was just like...
You could, but,
Well, I did, because the Betamax was obviously superior and also twice the price, which was upsetting, until all of a sudden it went under, and then it was 1/10 the price. It was like, wait, if you could have done this all along.
Yeah. Well, and there was the zip drives versus whatever what they were against, I forget, and
I had the zip drive.
There's always competing technologies.
Oh my God. I had, I forget which drives I had at the beginning that were crazy. You couldn't even format them correctly. They were just like, it was ridiculous. They really were. It was like nothing could read them. Nothing other than the original computer could format it or read it. It was everything had to be in a case, no matter how tiny, it held like, 5 megs, and it still had to be encased.
Yeah, in the huge lunchbox size case,
Right. I think we're off track here a bit.
Yes. Yeah, so I was going to go into my highlights then.
let's do that. Nothing worthwhile. If I do, I'll bring them up.
Okay. Well, as some of you may recognize from my background, Brad does not. I've been participating in the No Man's Sky Expeditions update this week. There's a No Man's Sky behind me.
Cool. Looking good.
And it's kind of like Seasons, in, say, a Battle Royale or whatever, is a limited time thing, and it has some things easier than in the standard game mode, in that you start off with a few more working and already built parts and don't have to build everything from scratch. And it's got a pathway for you to follow of specific missions and mission rewards and whatnot. And this entire weekend, starting yesterday, Friday, until Monday, or 5 days total. I'm a little bit, I forget if it started on the 1st or the 2nd, but 5 days total over this weekend. They are doing Twitch drops. So if you watch people streaming No Man's Sky on Twitch that have drops enabled, you earn free in-game items. So if you watch for 15 minutes, you get basically cosmetic items. You get some fireworks, you get an emote, and you get a different color for your jetpack trail. If you watch for half an hour, you get other stuff that is decor. If you watch for an hour, you get a multi-tool and a multi-tool upgrade. And if you watch for 2 hours, you get a helmet or a head. And if you watch for 3 hours, you get a free A-class ship.
And at 4 hours, does the eye surgeon come over and correct your vision?
This isn't necessarily that you have to watch for 3 hours straight. It can be you watch for an hour here, you watch for 15 minutes here, but throughout the day.
Cumulative, gotcha.
Right. And you have to redeem the items on Twitch within 24 hours of earning them. But once redeemed, they are in your account forever. And they can be accessed in the Expeditions save file, in the normal save file, in the permadeath save file, and the creative save file. So they're yours, and no matter what mode you are playing in. And the Expeditions mode is going on for 2 months, and then after that, it will convert into a normal mode.
Okay. So I guess that's a good way to bring people in.
Yeah. And right now, No Man's Sky, which normally has been getting 20 viewers per stream or whatever, up near 1,000 viewers, and everyone's subscriber counts are going, and follower counts.
Well, now they're giving away stuff, so whether or not they're watching it, at least they're tuned into it, right?
Right.
They can't actually see your eyes yet, or can they?
Right. So, well, no. If you have an eye tracking computer, maybe they can. But yeah, it's been fun. I got off of the planet, but now I need to make a hyperdrive, which means that I had to get chromatic metal, and I have to get 5 microprocessors. I've got the chromatic metal made. I've got 1 microprocessor that I found. I can't make microprocessors right now because I don't have the blueprint, so I've either got to find them or buy them. But I have yet to get to a space station to be able to buy. So
Look, crap happens, you know. When you,
and I need to get to the space station in order to find the anomaly or the black hole, and then fly into the black hole. And in there is something called the Quicksilver Shop. And it's at that Quicksilver Shop that that you claim your Twitch drops. And one thing that is kind of cool is that one of the missions in the expeditions is a little bit mislabeled, or well, no, it's you have to buy an A-class ship. Well, with the Twitch drops, you already have an A-class ship. So as soon as you redeem that from the Quicksilver vendor, it counts as you buying one, and boom, you now have an S-class ship as your reward.
Okay. So you go in and you buy a Kia and you drive out in a Mercedes. I got it.
Basically, yeah. No,
Yeah.
you pick up a Kia that was given to you, and in the process of picking it up, they go, "Oh, hey, because you are getting a Kia, here's the key to a brand new Mercedes."
You just have to sit here for 3 hours and watch this commercial.
Right. Yeah, that's better than timeshare.
Oh, timeshare is forever. I mean, timeshare really is forever. It's sick.
Yeah. So anyways, and another highlight is that earlier today I finished the All Valley Charity Tournament for Onward. So my team, Blackwatch, made it 3 rounds in to the double elimination tournament. So we lost our first round because we went up against a Beyond Platinum team, and we are silver level. So we lost that one.
Okay.
Second one, we won. Third one was very close. It was 3-3 at the end, and then all of a sudden they managed to get a cap, so it ended up 5-3 in their favor. So
easy come, easy go. But hey,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So great.
And it's raising money for a good cause, which is Hugs for Cancer, I think it is called now. So
Okay.
yeah. So all right, and with that out of the way, and taking up almost 20 minutes of the show to make up for the slightly less amount or lesser amount of news items,
Yeah.
let's move on into our new releases.
Talking about a few items.
Yeah. Well, first up we have Hand Physics Labs. Not labs, but lab. Yes. That's been out on SideQuest for a while, and we were expecting it to go to App Lab, but instead it came out as an official release. And it's basically a hand tracking playground or sandbox app.
Right.
One of the cool things you can do in there that is very topical right now is you can take an egg and paint it with your fingers. It spins in midair, and you can paint the different colors on there, or you can take it and just dip it into a color and then paint other colors on top of it. So,
Okay. Very, very topical.
yeah, and there's evidently a cat you can pet as well. which isn't quite as satisfying, I would imagine, as petting a real cat because it's just air. But
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be quite the same. No, not the same.
let me get your ear.
I guess it's all going to depend on the cat, and how the.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, it is cool that it has arrived. I believe it was $10, and the next one is either 15 or 20. Yeah, I forget. But Floor Plan 2 has released as well. This is, if you've heard of Floor Plan, which was a Gear VR/Go title, where you ride up and down in an elevator and you have to solve puzzles, and you have to go up to this floor to get something and then go back down to this floor and use it there, and it was kind of a very surreal puzzle. Floor Plan 2 is a lot longer, and you actually get to go out of the elevator and out onto the floors and do stuff. So it starts off with you, a new employee at Puzzle, and you have to address. You're like a customer service person, and so people come up to you with, "I need your help in choosing a puzzle," and then they come back later with, "That puzzle didn't work very well," and you have to help them solve it, and you get various items from them that are then useful in the next person to coming up and whatnot, and you prove yourself, and then you get access to a new elevator, which is the elevator based puzzles.
Okay.
Which involves, on one floor, a room full of chicks that are dancing at a club.
Are we talking about chicks or
Chicks? Chicks. Like
peeps?
Like peeps, yes.
That's not as good as what I had in mind. But
Yes. I don't know what my dog is barking at.
The chicks.
Maybe. Had the bad pun, huh? And there is even a Half-Life Alyx reference in there, in that if you return lost pets to the pet daycare in there, you'll get access to hand toys, I think is what they are called. And you go over to this machine and you put the cartridge in it, and then you put your hands, and they get pulled in and then pushed back out, and now your hands are a new fun shape. Well, one of the ones you can earn is called Tootie Hands. Now you have little butts on the back of your hand, and when you use them, it goes.
Yeah, I kind of saw where that was going.
As soon as I said Tootie Hands.
Yeah, as soon as you said Tootie Hands, I had a feeling we were getting to that. And then when you said butts, I pretty much confirmed it. I wasn't shocked when the actual sound that was emitted was revealed. I'm sorry. It was.
Yeah. So it's also very surreal, obviously, in case you couldn't tell.
No, that happens to me all the time.
Oh, crap, I woke up with Tootie Hands.
I always get that way after cucumbers. So anyway.
And lastly, but not leastly,
yes,
Pavlov Shack. How do you talk about that? Because I haven't played it.
Me either. But I downloaded
it. Well, I haven't even downloaded it.
So you see, I'm ahead of you. I knew that. I saw as soon as it came out when they were begging you to download it for free, and I figured, hey, I'll be a guy and download it for free. I've wanted to play Pavlov now for quite a while, and I haven't set up my link, and I've been avoiding the computer setup with travel back and forth. So when I saw that Pavlov Shack was out and available and being pushed, like, please take it, why not? Although it is kind of late to the dance, I have to say. I have plenty of first-person shooters that.
Yeah, but you don't have any that have tanks. And I don't know for sure that Pavlov Shack had the World War II stuff yet, or if it. I know Michael said that the description said that it did, but he wasn't able to find those maps, so I don't know for sure.
Right.
But that's one thing that is unique about it is, it's got the tanks.
Right. So it's something, but I'm just saying they're very late, considering they were the first ones there.
Yeah, right.
And the last ones to actually show up on the floor.
Right. And if I remember right from what I read, there are still no scopes in it.
Right. There's still plenty of work to do. This is a beta.
Well, Dave Vills, if I remember right, said he wasn't going to do scopes because it was too hard for him, and he was rejecting any of the advice given to him by people that had done scopes.
Oh, okay. So he's coming from the same point of view as
Solaris, yes.
Solaris, I got it. Okay then. Dave, don't do this.
Yes. Scopes are very useful, and they can be done in a performant way. Onward has scopes. Rec Room has scopes. Contractors has scopes. I believe.
Pop One
has scopes.
Yeah, come on, seriously.
Phantom Covert Op has scopes, which are excellently done, by the way.
Death Horizon has. I mean, every game has scopes. Maybe that's his thing. It's the only game that doesn't. So that's the same way Pavlov Shack is the only one that has tanks and no scope. So
maybe. I mean, I don't know that that's the thing that you really want to lay your claim to fame on, but
can you just tell me how you're going to fire out of a tank without a scope?
Blindly.
Just that question, I mean, I've.
I don't know. Hang on one second. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I thought that was my wife trying to tell me that she needed help getting in from the car because of all the groceries that she bought or something.
So I thought it was Dave DeVille's calling.
No.
No, we're not getting.
And as we also mentioned, there were the whole slew of App Lab titles, which we aren't going to go through. We did highlight Pavlov Shack, obviously.
Right. So
because it's a highly anticipated one that kind of needs to be highlighted.
And we just honestly can't get through all of the App Lab releases.
Yeah. If we did that, that'd be the entire show right there.
No, that would be a 3-hour special each week at the rate that they're going, So and also pretty pricey for what they're putting out there.
Some of them are, yes.
So that was sort of surprising. I mean, I didn't really see that one coming so quickly. I thought they were going to sort of sneak up on you as opposed to whack you over the head,
Right. Moving on to the upcoming titles. We already spoke about this last week, Carly and the Reaper Man, but I wanted to update with the fact that I saw a date for it this time, which is April 15th. So.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
not this next week, but the week after.
Right. I really am looking forward to that. It really does look fun. Yeah. And different, very different. Yeah. Talk about surreal.
Right.
I think that's the definition.
Yeah. Now, coming out this next week, we do have Swarm coming out, which is a game that I have played in beta.
Me too.
and several of you have also. And I have to say, it's a very fun game. It's kind of like Grapple Tournament, but single player against waves and hordes of enemies.
It was
So
fun. It
yeah,
was fun.
it's an arcadey game.
Very.
Yeah.
It's the definition of arcade.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
True.
but yeah, it's fun. I have
Yeah,
no
and
idea
it's
what it's
in
going to come
a
out.
similar art style to, to Grapple Tournament too. I think it's that cell shaded look.
Right.
So,
It's fine for the gameplay. It really is. It doesn't
yeah.
bother me at all. Not like Jurassic Park.
Arc, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I really liked it. I don't get motion sick, as you know, so for me, I have
Yeah,
no problem with it whatsoever.
I
I've
did.
heard that most people who do get motion sick don't have a big problem with it, but I'm going to ask you about that.
I was going to say at the beginning, you definitely need to go in slow. Don't think you're going to play an hour the first time you go in there. If you're prone to motion sickness, don't do it for more than 5-10 minutes, really,
Yeah.
because you'll get there. If you're prone to motion sickness,
Yeah.
it will induce it.
Your only movement style in this game is grappling and swinging.
Right.
You shoot upward to the platform, and you grab and you pull down, and that pulls you up or shoots you up, depending on how hard you pull. And you can swing and get going really fast, swing up, and you basically do a 5-minute hang time.
Right. Oh yeah. It's like I said, it is fun, but
Yeah.
it will induce motion sickness if you're not ready for it, especially when you shoot up, not just get pulled up. When you shoot up,
Right.
that's an interesting feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I really like is the blink, the special attack ability. I forget how you activate it. I think it was double tapping the A button.
Right.
But when you are looking at an enemy and or a platform or whatever, and the blink target or blink meter is charged up,
Right. All the way charged.
you basically do an instant, and you can actually take out an enemy by doing that, by
Right.
blinking and ramming them out of the way, basically.
Oh yeah. It's like people will enjoy it.
Or you can also use that same charge to do bullet time. Slow everything down.
Oh right. Bullet time. Okay. Yeah. The slow down thing is.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's becoming a little played. I mean, in Super Hot it was great, but it was a little Prince of Persia-ish, but it was fine. Fine.
So yeah.
At this point, it's
okay. So this one has been in a private beta to playtesting for what, like a good year at least now.
More.
Yeah.
More.
So.
Yeah, I think this came out right when I got the Quest 1. Right when I got it. It was one of the first betas I got. So, and it made very slow progress for the first 6 to 8 months. It was like non-existent. But the last few months, it's really come along.
Yeah, and they do have some inventive ideas in there. So when this comes out, I would say it would be worth a buy. I don't know what the right price for it would be. I'm gonna say I'm thinking around 15 would be a good price for it, but they'll probably push for the 20 or maybe 25 mark.
If they go 25, it won't happen. At 1999, it's still a push. I don't think 1999 is going to fly, to be honest with you.
Right. So.
But I don't know. Once again, I don't know.
Yep. We're just speculating here.
Right. Right. We have no idea of their pricing, folks.
Yeah.
Nobody does, really, at this point.
Yeah. Another game that is coming out on April 8th is Traffic Jams. This has finally been approved to come out for the Quest. It is where you are directing traffic, and you have to manage it in an increasingly chaotic environment so that no one runs into each other. And it's not just cars, it's also like airplanes and people and who knows what else.
Right. I mean, yeah,
So,
it could be a wacky kind of game.
yeah.
It sounds like a very wacky kind of game,
Yes.
which could be great. I just don't know about the replay value or how often I would want to do
Right.
something like that. It's like, yes, I could see playing that once or
Right.
twice.
Right.
I
And
don't.
the same thing kind of could be said for Swarm, but it's got a little bit more replay value for me personally because it's more fun. It's just in the very concept than Traffic Jams is.
Right.
So,
True. I mean, yes.
I'm not the right audience for Traffic Jams.
I don't think I am either, to be honest with you. Once again, it's just too much of a pedestrian, not the punny, sorry, but it's just too plain for the type. Once again, I could see it getting out of hand and out of control.
Well, yeah.
And, you start losing it when you're doing everything, but it's just like the cooking games and the sandwich games and everything that you're going to lose control of. It's just going to spiral out of control.
Right.
And to me, that's sort of like Lucy, I'm back to I Love Lucy, and Ricky, yeah, the
Right.
chocolates coming down the,
Yep.
So
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. No, I have no clue of the reference you were making there.
No, I could tell. Wow, we just dated ourselves. Okay.
Yep. So, anyways, moving on before we date ourselves even more. Time for all the good news that's good to talk about. I think I'm putting too many goods in there.
Sounded good.
So, evidently, a quarter of the headsets that are being used in Steam are Quest 2.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you are surprised. No? Neither am I.
Everyone here is pretty status quo with that.
Yeah.
They're just surprised it's not half, to be honest with you. That's the surprise.
Yeah. Yep. Related to that, Oculus Quest 2 sales may be 3 times that of the PlayStation VR.
Well, let's be fair. You need a PlayStation in order to use the PlayStation VR.
Right.
So it's not even a contest, which is...
Except that there are more people that own a PlayStation, in theory, than own a Quest 2. So, in theory, it could have been a much bigger market, because there were a lot of people that already had the right kind of PlayStation for it, and they just needed to buy the upgrade.
Did you ever see the one?
But
everything that they're doing is geared towards PlayStation 5.
Right.
And they've already announced that the VR headset won't be coming out until next year for the PlayStation 5. So, yeah, I mean, and it's going to be wired. At some point along the line, they might announce it'll be wireless. That's a possibility. The same way they showed those new controllers that sort of ride up your arm like bat sleeves or something. And
like a basket held on a sword.
right, exactly. It's Highline. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but
they're the Hyrule branded controller.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Sony's a little crazy these days. But anyway.
Actually, as a brief side note there, it would be kind of awesome if Oculus could partner with Nintendo and get Legend of Zelda on the Oculus Quest, because then you could play as Link over Link.
Link squared.
Link squared! Sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably not. Although we'll see something like it pretty soon.
Probably.
Maybe this week on App Lab. Who knows?
Maybe.
I know. Well, I don't know what they're going to do actually with the new Super Nintendo. You know, they're going from the Switch Lite to the Switch to the new. I don't know what it's going to be. Really, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I do know Oculus version 27 has been rolling out.
For a
the
while.
New firmware.
I know. For a while.
Yeah.
I think that's what's been screwing with my headset because it's
could
rolling out in pieces.
Yeah. It seems like some people is helping, other people is hurting, other people are not noticing any change. I mean, this was, I believe, supposed to be more of a bug fix than a new features update. So
Right, this was a patch because
right.
I think what I honestly believe the problem is these rollouts where they build everything into the system and then activate one at a time and don't activate the other, which was installed, and you're just sort of letting it lie there.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, Dingboy in our Discord, and you may know him from YouTube, said that since he got the version 27, he hasn't been able to use Link pretty much at all. You know, and when he tests his USB 3 ports, as soon as it starts getting a high speed data transfer between Oculus, it craps out. Whereas obviously it wasn't doing that before. Whereas Node, no, not that Node, not the one behind Boner, but we have a user in our Discord called Node. He said that if anything, Link is working maybe a little bit better for him. It has started out a little bit rough, but then it has stabilized and now it's working fine. So
this might have to do with the processor too. It might be an AMD Intel thing. It might be we have no clue how many cores are working. You know, at this point, that's part of the problem with PCs and virtual reality headsets is that you don't have compliance, 100% compliance. You're mixing
and
two
you
or
probably
three
never
worlds. Right, unless you have it built into the headset, and it's the same manufacturer of headset and, you know,
and the PC, right?
PC.
Which is why, in general, consoles, even though they aren't as powerful as say PC, work better in general because everything's homogeneous and you're not trying to support 20 different vendors and 20 different subsets of each vendor, and you know.
No, I understand, but it's like I said, this isn't working for them, so they have to do something.
But something that we hope will be working, if we value our families, is Guardian intrusion detection.
Which I think is what's screwing with my Guardian right now.
Yes, that we had some leaks indicating that it might be coming soon. Trademark.
I believe it has arrived in pieces at this point. So the only way you can be
assemble it at your own risk.
No. Exactly. The only way you're going to know if it's active is if somebody comes in. I mean, when it says objects, I'm just wondering what object is coming into your space. Unless it's a Roomba, what object?
Well, it from the leaked images that we saw, it's not going to be able to detect something like a cat, but it should, if the leaked images are correct, be able to detect an adult or a child.
Right.
So it's primarily to protect people, not your pets.
But not a baby either, which makes no sense. I mean, that was the first thing I thought when they showed that it's not going to protect the pet.
Right.
The first thing I thought of was, there goes the baby as you kick. You know, and whack, you know,
Whoops.
right? Sorry,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
not
so,
cool.
like everything with the Guardian, it's useful, it helps. I wouldn't rely totally on it.
Right, you can't just ask my finger and Swords of Gargantua.
Oh,
It's
speaking of which, so another little bit of a highlight, I guess. I did play a little bit of the Swords of Gargantua VR YouTuber or whatever
oh,
event.
how'd it
Yeah,
go for you? Good.
had to. It was a little bit too much of a grind for me at the time, and I didn't have any chance to clear out enough space to not endanger those around me. So, or
And
myself.
okay, yeah.
So,
And you have to have the right people when you're playing
yeah,
it too, because otherwise it's dull or it's boring or it's just
yeah,
stupid.
yeah,
But if you have the right team, it's
yeah,
great. That's
yeah,
really
yeah. So, in other news, Sketchfab is using VR Sketch to allow you to integrate with Sketchfab and edit and create and view 3D stuff in VR.
cool.
So I don't know all the details of it. There was a free trial and a learn more and a get more info sort of thing on it. So it's not a free service. I don't know if it's a subscription, a one-time purchase, or what.
All of these professional apps are going to have some fee involved at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Nobody's
So,
giving this stuff away.
but it is very cool and very promising that they are working on that, and they've got this starting up. So.
Yeah, I agree. Everything that they can do is cool at this point.
Yes, including something that I forgot to write down in the notes, but evidently the Quest or the Quest 2, I forget which, was used in production of The Mandalorian. I don't know all the details on that, but it was used for probably visualizing
Well,
the computer generated stuff, you know. So
Disney is heavily into using VR
yes, yes,
for, I mean, I don't know if people understand that. I think everything that they're doing live action is involved in using VR to visualize.
right,
And they're capturing in VR as well, because they know that eventually
yeah,
the theaters will show, and they're doing it. They're ahead of the game. So
yeah,
I think that's kind
yeah,
of cool.
yeah. Yep. And speaking of another company that's perhaps a little bit ahead of the game in some ways, Niantic teased AR glasses.
Tease, I know.
Yeah.
No clue. If they're
Yeah,
only going
we
to play
don't know any
Pokemon,
details about them other than what can be gleaned and inferred from the image, which may be completely incorrect. So,
well, if you saw Nady's showing you the new Google Daydream goggles, then you would understand what I think of the new Niantic goggles. Did you see that one?
no, I don't think I did.
Okay, first he showed you, it's 3D. He's showing you virtual reality, the history of virtual reality. And the first thing they show you is the blue and red cellophane.
Oh, right, right,
And then he shows you, I forget, oh yeah, then he shows you a Viewmaster. And
right.
then he shows you cardboard,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then he shows you the next new advance, and it says completely immersive, and you see your hands and
Oh,
everything is perfect, and then you see the guy is just wearing plastic goggles. It's just
aha.
brought to you by Google. It's like.
Well, unfortunately, Google does seem to be going that way.
I don't get it. I've had this discussion with at least half a dozen people at this point. Honestly, I think Alphabet is fixated on their car and their battery.
Yeah.
And at this point, Google is merely a vehicle for them to get more revenue.
Yeah.
And
It's the revenue producing arm of Alphabet.
Correct.
And Niantic broke away from Google before it was Alphabet.
Pretty stupid move on their part, but yeah.
Well, it gives them a little bit more freedom and autonomy, and I kind of think that had they stayed within Google, they'd be gone.
Right, they could be. There'd be no Pikmin, that's for sure. It would have stopped Pokemon. So, okay.
Yep.
Granted.
Yes. So we also have an update to Flipside that brings a whole bunch of new features, and it allows you to use motion capture to capture realistic motion for the characters while you are creating them, or creating the movies rather.
I can't wait until this guy brings out those mocaps, the reflectors and the lights for that. That's going to make it amazing, really. That'll be virtual reality. We'll all be in there doing the 3D dancing, you know.
Yeah, wearing those suits with the little balls all over them.
But that's what it's going to come down to, you know. It really is. I keep looking at
they will have to be haptic enabled, though. They'll have to have haptics in them as well.
I was just going to say, I keep looking at the Be Haptic Vest, and I'm thinking there's got to be a way to mix these things. You know, they have to be able to put reflectors on their.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They could corner the market just by putting reflectors on their haptics.
Right.
Give you mocap and haptics at the same time.
Yep. Yep, and speaking of another company that's updating and going even more all in on VR. Well, I don't know about all in, but it's kind of all in. Ubisoft, however you want to pronounce it.
I don't.
What?
I don't want to pronounce it ever.
Adds VR support to its internal Snowdrop engine.
Great.
And it sounds like, from what I've been reading, it sounds like they are targeting more the standalone devices than they are PC devices, because they made a statement about how you have to reduce things and keep in mind optimization and lower texture sizes, and and all that sounds like Oculus Quest 2 as opposed to PC. So
yeah, you think? So. Polygon usage, people. Polygon usage.
Yep. So, but whatever you feel about Ubisoft, they are supposed to be bringing Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell to VR, and if they can get this incorporated into their internal engine as opposed to going to a third-party engine, that'll just streamline things and make it a lot easier and more efficient for them, in theory. So it's a good thing.
Okay.
And last bit of news. Snap is rumored to bring AR glasses dev kits this year. They've had 3 versions of their spectacles so far, all of which were just basically wearable cameras.
Right.
But now they are rumored to be releasing AR glasses sometime this year with dev kits, and they're supposed to be making an announcement sometime in May. So,
meanwhile, Microsoft is the one that has sold the AR headsets to the military. Yeah. So, it's here we are talking about all of these other advances, and it's not Apple.
I forgot to add that on the news, but yeah, that's worthy bit of news, yeah.
Right, so you think that's worthy? Apple's not doing it. Nobody else is doing it. The guys that are selling the dev kit for the AR glasses isn't doing it, but Microsoft has the military contract. So I'm thinking Microsoft is really a key player in the future of AR, just as much as Apple.
Yeah. And have you seen the military version of the HoloLens?
It's insane.
They've got like spider eyes, like
I know.
six
I know.
cameras around.
See, plus all of the different readouts that you're getting.
Right.
I mean, the visual, the distance, and from
Yeah.
up top, and the amount of views that you have, and
Yeah.
close up, and
yeah. I mean, it's like all the information you could ever want right there.
it's like you have to be a gamer.
Yeah. And personally, I think it's a good thing because the more information you have, up to a point, I mean, there is such a thing as information overload going,
Yeah. Right.
but up to a point, the more information you have and the more real time that information is, and the more you can correlate it with what you're actually seeing, what's in the real world, the safer our soldiers will be.
Theoretically.
Right.
Right. Oh,
right.
Granted, except you're talking about the battlefield that you see in 2725, where, all these guys are, you can put them back together with their limbs. It really depends on if you want to go with Starship Troopers, where they put you with this big clunky piece of crap, or if you want to go with, any of the others where it's a nice slim piece, like maybe iRobot or something, something that's undetectable.
As long as we don't go the Star Trek combat route, because that was just kind of lame comparatively.
Well, look, just don't put me in the same chair you put Chris Pike in, okay? Just don't do that.
I know, right?
You would think that they would have been a little more advanced at that particular period.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that was, it was supposed to be life support plus a wheelchair all in one.
Yeah, great communication device. Stephen Hawking has a better communications device than Christopher Pike did in 22 something, 24 something.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, yeah.
Yeah. I know. They were ahead of their times in some ways. I mean, they predicted flip phones, kind of.
They created flip phones. Flip phones. I know.
Yeah.
They were the precursor to everything, granted, but still, I mean, Tweaky from Buck Rogers was more advanced, so I'm a little. He could communicate better than Christopher Pike. I'm saying that's a problem, okay?
Beep, 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 beep.
That was a more advanced speech pattern than Chris Pike had. Beep. Beep.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, that brings us to the end of our Untethered show. So
I thought that was happening, yes.
Yes. If you made it this far, congratulations! You have become untethered from reality and are now floating off into space where you can visit the planet behind me. Just stay away from the oxygen-bearing plants because they spit out toxic fumes.
Well, everybody knows that, Josh.
Yes.
Don't be redundant.
But I like being repetitive and redundant.
Do you like being repetitive and redundant?
I do. I used to work at the Department of Redundancy Department.
Sounds fitting.
So, on that note, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Remember to drag your friends and pull them by the hair and drag them to like and subscribe and like.
Less violent.
After you also like and subscribe and like. As many times as you can. So, thanks. Have a great week.
Bye.